Friends, sit up nice and tall, please.
This is my grandma, and I'm doing my ancestry project, and my name is Lee, and I'm going to ask her some questions, and starting with, what is your full name?
Okay, I am Leah's grandmama, and I'm glad to be here, but I need to have notes, so. My full name is Carmen Felipa Carrejo de Rivera. I have two last names because I have my dad's name, and now I have my husband's name, okay?
Where were you born?
I was born in El Paso, Texas.
What did you do as a child?
Well, my mom and dad had 10 kids, and I was kind of in the middle. So I had to help her. I had to help around the house quite a bit. So I washed dishes, swept the floor, you know, tried to make my bed and stuff like that. And after I got done with my work, I would go outside and play with my friends and girls. We would play with jacks. I don't know if they do that anymore. Jacks, and we would play hide and go seek. And we would play, what else did we play? Hide and seek and a game called Kick the Can. Kick the Can was something like soccer, right? Except that you didn't have a ball. What we used was cans, either a can of Coke or something, and we kicked them around, and the other side would try to kick it back. So that's what I did.
What kind of work have you done as an adult?
As an adult, my biggest main job was to take care of my husband and my children, and my husband was in the Navy, so we traveled a lot. We went to a lot of nice places and met a lot of wonderful, beautiful people. But after he got done with the Navy, I also went to work as a bookkeeper at our church. And of course, you know, I still take care of my family.
What is important to you now?
The most important thing is and will always be my family, my children, my grandchildren, my beautiful Leah. And also, since we are lucky to have a nice home and have food for our children and be able to send them to school, I like to help other people that take care of children that don't have food and don't have clothing so that they have a good chance at a good life.
How long has our family lived here?
Well, my dad was born in Mexico, a place named Chihuahua. And so we've been here for 100 years.
Did our ancestors move here? When?
My dad crossed over or came to the United States in 1916, so that's about 100 years. And let me see, I wrote something here. Yeah, came in 1916.
Where did our ancestors come from?
Well, like I said, my dad was born in Chihuahua. It's not very far from the United States. I really can't tell you how far, but he was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and my mother was born in El Paso, Texas. So she had been here for a while already.
What was our ancestors' country like?
Well, Mexico, around the time that my dad was a young child and a boy, there was a lot of war going on. A lot of war, a lot of fighting. And since men are the ones that go off to war, the women, the mothers, the grandmothers were responsible for taking care of the children. And since there was a lot of war, there was not a lot of food for them to have because the food would go to the soldiers and stuff. So the mamas and the grandmamas, when they couldn't feed their children, they would take them to a sanctuary where they would be protected and somebody would take care of them and feed them. And in my husband, or Leah's granddad, his father, he was put in one of these places with the nuns, and they took care of him and fed him there. But the soldiers, and some of them were bandits, would come to these places where these children were being taken care of, and the places like the nuns, the people in the church, would have to hide them because the soldiers, and a very famous bandit that you probably know the name of, his name was Pancho Villa, they would take the boys. They would take them them as young as 10, 12 years old because they wanted those boys to fight in the wars. So the nuns hid, they would hide all the boys, and they hid your granddad's father, which would be your great-granddad. So they hid him pretty well because he was able to live through the whole thing.
How is it different from where we live now?
How is it different? Well, Mexico is a little better. Life is better for a lot of people. But there are still poor people that can't feed their children or find work, so that's why they come over here. Now, the United States is a good place to live. There's work, and you can, have a family and buy food for them and send them to school, and so it's a better life in the United States.
Do we have family members that still live in that place?
Yes, I still have aunts and uncles and cousins. I've met them, but I don't have much contact with them.
Why did our ancestors want to come here?
Because, like I said, the United States gives people from poorer countries a chance for a better life, especially, for children, so that they can grow up and have a good life themselves. You're done.
Wow, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you here. And then what should we say to Leah in a power clap? 1, 2, 3. Awesome, Leah! Well done, honey.
I don't know if Leah wants to show you some of the artifacts that we had hanging around the house.
Please, that would be wonderful. Leah, are you comfortable with that and can share? Oh, fantastic.
This is some barrel that the seniors in Mexico use, and this would be one that a rich person in Mexico would have.
Leah, turn around so they could see.
If they were rich, they would kind of wear a hat like this.
Real bit poor. This one's real fancy. This one is a little bit poorer.
You want to come up over here, sweetheart, and show us the sombrero? Oh, fantastic. Thanks, honey.
How do you wear it, baby?
The fat part goes like that.
It's very heavy. It's pretty heavy, isn't it? Anything else?
Then these are two dolls to show what the Mexican people looks like. This is the man and this is the woman, and they would wear these belts like this.
And these are, when they went to war, they would put the bullets around their chest like that, so that they would have them with them all the time. And this is like a serape. A serape is a blanket that they used to put, they would put the serape over the horse and then put the saddle on top to protect the horse. And then at night, if they needed